What's up? So, today we'll be doing Fear the Walking Dead Season 1 recap. So, yesterday, with Walking Dead finishing up on AMC Plus, and me watching it on AMC Plus, and me almost, and with the series finishing, the recap for Season 11 will come out next week. The recap for season 11 will come out next week. I just was like, hey, why don't I renew my promise and start Fear the Walking Dead recap? We're going through all 8 seasons, and I'm saying, how long can this show stand for? So, yeah. This starts off with a guy waking up from a drug. Yeah. Starts off with a guy waking up from being on drugs. And he's in church. And he goes to see his girlfriend, but she's already been turned into a zombie. Unknown to him. Because guess what? This is a prequel. Yes. This is prior to Rick Grimes in the group. Rick Grimes in the groups, journey against trying to stop the walking. Yeah, this is a prequel to The Walking Dead. Weird that they would make The Walking Dead and then make a prequel. So, yeah. So, in this universe, cars work, hospitals work, we have military, and yes, everything that we have in the real world, they have in this show. So the guy bumps into a car and gets sent to the hospital, where his mom shows up and picks him up. We learn this guy's name is Nick, and his mom, Madison, picks him up with his sister Alicia and her boyfriend Travis, who has a son named Chris, and from his previous marriage to his ex-wife. Yeah, this is not going to be your typical Walking Dead show, is it? No, it's about real families, not families that are born from bonding. It's blood family, because Chris looks like he just came out of Cobra Kai, and I call him Robbie King 2.0. Actually, no, 3.0. Because there's Robbie King, there's Ron, who literally from The Walking Dead, who looked like him. And now here's Chris, who looks exactly like how Robbie looked like in the first. Yeah, no. So, yeah. He literally. First we had Ron. Now we have him. So, now we have Chris. So, yeah. So, basically, Nick has been transferred to the hospital because of doing drugs. Because this kid is a drug addict. Kind of funny to have the somewhat main character of the show be a drug user. I know Daryl and Merle was a drug user, but he wasn't the main character. This is the first time in the Walking Dead show that they've had the main character be a drug user. So he's to stay in the hospital. Meanwhile, the mom is very worried about him. So she goes to school where she meets up with the principal. But one of the kids there notices that people are dying, and he tries to warn her about it. But she shrugs it off like, yeah, a lot of people die, but he's like, hey, yeah. So there's this guy who's dying, so after taking care of him, they say they'll come back for Nick. But Nick escapes. They find that he's missing, go to see one of his friends, who is a drug user, and obviously isn't happy that Nick's parents are looking for him, which could bring attention that he's using drugs. So Nick starts to talk to his friend, saying, hey, he's not his girlfriend. You turn into a zombie. So what does the guy do? He obviously thinks Nick is crazy and tries to kill him. Tries to kill him because he thinks he's insane. So what does Nick do? He kills his friend, but the friend turns into a zombie. But Travis and Madison think they can help the guy. But Nick, knowing what his girlfriend went through, rams him over with his car until he dies. So that's when the start of the apocalypse begins. Yeah. So now they have to like worry about what's going on. Now they have to worry what's going on. So anyway, what happens is that what happens is that Nick, he's very worried, and they don't want to tell the daughter about this. So yeah, we start seeing the neighbor of the husband's neighbor, the neighbor's husband start going through a transformation, proving that he's infected, but we don't know that yet. So what happens is that they decide to go. So they decide to go, and so yeah, so so Madison goes back to her high school, where she tries to find her principal friend, but he's already been turned into a walker already. So yeah. So she and the guy that tried to warn her about the walkers before, I forget the name of, she mentions about how he ran into Nick once about when he was starting high school, and they run to save their lives. So the zombie principal tries to get the kid, but Madison is able to kill him by stopping him. So meanwhile, Travis tries to go tell his wife about tries to go tell his ex-wife about the zombie, but she's obviously mad that instead of warning about the zombies, she's obviously mad that he's not listening to the time that they can have their son, but he tries to. Yeah, even the son is basically, they try to call the son, but he's Robbie Keane-esque, and it's like, hey, I don't like you, and you ban me for them, and basically Robbie Keane. So he sets this protest where these protesters are protesting against the police for killing this normal guy who before killing this normal guy. So and the kid's there, so the ex-wife and Travis find Chris, and they find Chris. But what happens is that they they go into this old guy's go into this old guy's shop, and since there's a big storm happening, they're stuck there. Meanwhile, back at the Clark's house, Nick's going through going through withdrawals from drugs. Well, going through withdrawals from drugs. And the mom basically tells her daughter not to abandon her son. Not to abandon her son. But then after, he tries to say, hey, your boyfriend might already become a zombie, she decides to stay after almost abandoning him. So the mom finds out, and is like, hey, and he's like, hey, she tried to abandon me, right? So meanwhile, the neighbor, so they tried to play Monopoly like a nice normal family would, but that's when the zombie husband, who we said we'd find out about more later, attacks his family and kills them. And all Alicia's trying to wonder, like, what's what's going on? And they're also worrying about Travis. Like, is he dead? Is he not dead? They're kind of worrying about that man. They're kind of worrying about that man. They're kind of worried about that man. So, anyway, so yeah. So they're able to get them out of there as the zombies destroy, as the protesters and zombies destroy that man's shop. R.I.P. that man's shop. That shop was good, but but it's revealed that the man's wife was bit. So so during that day, they discovered that one of their neighbors' wife was turned into a zombie, and Madison's about to shoot her, but then Travis shows up and is like, "Hey, we don't know what this is. We can save her." And she's like, "I understand if you were in a new zombie apocalypse, like in The Walking Dead, they've been in that for years now, but for these people, it's just starting. So I understand them saying." Hey, maybe we can save these people because they're just so. Yeah, I understand. So meanwhile, the wife of Travis's ex-wife, forget her name, even though I just saw this, she decides to get a doctor friend to help her out. So she's able to stop the walkers. They're able to stop the walkers, but then what happens is they're able to stop the walkers. But then what happens is that so the government comes in, pour that old man's pour the wife of that guy, the neighbor. His wife was shot down by, I think, the FBI, by the government. So Alicia hangs out with. So they decided to take Nick to a hospital, and now everyone's worried about him, being like, "Where's Nick?" And he's even like, "Hey, the ex-wife got on with them." So they take Nick to a hospital where he meets Dr. Strand, who basically helps him out. Meanwhile, everyone is totally trapped by his walkers. So meanwhile, everyone's trapped by it's bad news, and everyone is totally trapped by walkers. So they decide to get out of there. The wife of the old man got infected, and unfortunately, she died. Ophelia, the daughter, is obviously all upset. Her mom's dead. So they're all getting out of there when it looks like Nick and Dr. Strand are about to be killed by zombies. He starts to tell his mom to leave, but that's when the wife shows up, ex-wife shows up, and she's like, "Hey, I got this super convenient plot armor that won't let you die card," and they're able to get out of there. So they're on this random island that I forget the name of, and it's revealed that in the scuffle, the ex-wife was bit. So she wants Madison to kill her based on them not like each other, because if Travis saw this, Travis would break down. Travis happens to show up, okay, like randomly. He's just walking down as they talk about him. He's just like, "What's up, guys? You talking about me?" And he's like, and she's like, "Hey, she's bit," and she's like, "Hey, maybe we can save her," and she's like, "No." No, you can't. So yeah, during the scuffle, the daughter during one of the people that was mad at the old guy, he puts a gun against him, and it shoots the daughter, so it's unknown if the daughter's dead or if she's just injured. Wait till season 2 for that. And yeah, so they decided to, go. So he's like, hey, I gotta, my planet needs me. And she's, wait, no, it's the Simpsons. No, wait, actually, he's like, it's Poochie. He's like, I wanna kill you. And she's like, she has to. So he shoots her in the head. Nick and Chris and Alicia, aka Robbie 2.0, and the girl, she suspects that her boyfriend that she had at the beginning of the season is dead. So yeah, we hear like the son being crying over it. We see Travis crying over it, only to be confronted by Madison, and they get all wet to end the season. Kind of weird way to end the season. They get all wet. It shows a random scope of the ocean, and we're done. We're done with Fear the Walking Dead season 1. Just like the first season of The Walking Dead, this only had 6 episodes. But unlike Fear the second season of The Walking Dead, next season has 15, and then the rest have 16. Just like Walking Dead seasons 1 through 9. But anyway, that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time when we recap season 2, or when we go back to recap the final season of The Walking Dead, or we'll be recapping season 2 of Fear the Walking Dead. But it'll probably be when we recap the final season of The Walking Dead.